Hello guys and welcome to my channel. For today's video, as you can see, we are in a different setting. Today I want to declutter my eyeshadow palettes and it will be a bit of a hard task. So I'm gonna try to select as many palettes as possible, but we will put them in a chopping block and I'm gonna declutter them at the end of the year because I still have some videos that I want to film with some of these. So what I'm gonna do first is go through all my palettes and separate them in two different categories. One is for sure keeping and the other one is a maybe, and we are gonna compare some shades, do some swatches and etc. So let's just start. The first palette is the Huda Beauty Cool Obsession. This is the color story and I'm putting this one in the maybe pile because I could see myself decluttering this one. Then we have the Girl on the Moon from GlossGods and I'm gonna put this one in the keep pile. NYX Ultimate Utopia palette, I'm putting this one in the keep pile as well. The ABH Nouveau palette, this one I'm keeping for sure. The ABH Cosmos palette, I'm keeping this one as well. Then I have the Illamasqua Rainbow palette, this I'm gonna put in the maybe pile. The Natasha Denona Mini Retro, I'm keeping this one. The Mini Pastel from Natasha Denona, I'm keeping this one as well. Then I have the Mini Love from Natasha Denona. Actually, I'm gonna put this one in the maybe pile and just think about it a bit more. Natasha Denona Coral palette, this one I'm keeping. Then I have Nimya the palette, this one I'm keeping for sure. Then the Urd palette from Oden and the Verdandi, I'm keeping both of them for sure. Then I have the Sigma Jewels palette. I actually will put this one in the maybe pile, not my favorite. I didn't even review this one yet, so I'm keeping it for now. Then I have another palette that I didn't review. It is the NYX Ultimate Festival palette. I'm keeping this one. Then I have some singles from Little. I'm gonna put this one in the maybe pile because I think I want to declutter some of these. And these are the other little shadows that I have. Then I have Natasha Denona Metropolis. This one is going nowhere for sure. Then I have the Do Not Disturb from BH Cosmetics. I'm gonna put this one in the maybe pile for now. From Beauty Bay, I have the Tropical palette. I'm keeping this one. Then we have the Lost in Los Angeles from BH Cosmetics. This one I'm keeping for sure. Viseard Dark Edit. I will actually put this one in the maybe pile. It is getting pretty old, but I need to think about it a bit more. So it is in the maybe pile for now. Then the Nabla Wild Berry, I will put this one in the maybe pile as well, even though it is very hard for me to declutter something like this because I really enjoy the formula and everything, but I want to think about it a bit more because it's getting older. The Beauty Bay Alice in Wonderland, this is a 6 pan with only mattes. I'm gonna put this one in the maybe pile as well because I'm not reaching for it. Then I have the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. This one I'm keeping for sure. The Oden Hella palette, I'm keeping this one. Then I have the Yaka palette from Natasha Denona. This is one of my favorites, so it's going nowhere. Then the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. I don't reach for this one that often, but it has some really good shades and it is very useful, so I will keep it. Then I have the Club Nebula and I'm gonna keep this one because I do love these mattes and these shimmers, so it is staying. Then I have the Quad from Glowish. It is in clay. I'm gonna put this one in the maybe pile. It's just pretty boring. Midnight Voyage from Pat McGrath. I'm gonna keep this one. It is pretty cute. The Viseard Quad in Violetta, I do really like this one, so I'm keeping it. Then I have the Wet n Wild Color Icon. I'm gonna keep this one because it is a very good affordable palette, so I want to enjoy it a bit more. And then I have other single shadows. I have 3 from Oden. I'm gonna keep these. I will list down below all the names. I have 3 singles from Catrice. I'm gonna keep these as well. 2 Ultimate Eye Paints from NYX. I'm not using them too often, but they are pretty new, so I will keep them in my collection. And lastly, I have the Dazzle Stick from KVD. This is in Green Flesh. I really enjoy this one, so I'm keeping it. So those were all my eyeshadows. Let's start talking about the maybe pile. So I have the Glowish Quad in here. This is in clay. I will put this one in the decluttering pile and I want to use it one more time before decluttering it for forever. It's just too neutral for me, and this shimmer is so simple, so basic in my opinion. I prefer something a bit more shiny or something a bit more pigmented, or this is a basic quad. I'm not gonna use it, so I will put it in the decluttering pile. Then we have the Alice in Wonderland. I do like this palette, but it is a full matte palette and the formula is nice, but I want to see what other palettes I have with some of these colors, because I think I will declutter this one. So first of all, the bright pink. I do have some bright pinks in the festival palette from NYX, and as well in the tropical palette from Beauty Bay, and I actually enjoy this palette a bit more because it has some shimmers as well, and the yellow as well, I have it in here. For the purple, I do have it in the festival palette from NYX, and as well in the BH Cosmetics palette I do have this purple, so I think I'm set with that. I have this berry shade, and I do have some berries in here and in this one as well, and if I want a true red, I have one in the Club Nebula, and as well for the blue I have it in here, so I think I am pretty set, so I can declutter this one. Then I have the Nabla Cutie palette in Wild Berry, and I want to see if I have similar shades to these as well, because it is pretty old. So for the bright pink shade, we just talked about that, so I have that. And then this shimmer is pretty similar to the one from the Coral palette, so I think I'm set with that. This is a brown, so I have a bunch of browns, and this is a neutral. And for the reddish tones as well, I think they are not that special, so I think I will declutter this one as well. And then we have the Mini Love from Natasha Denona, and this one is hard for me to let go as well because this formula is impeccable. I want to see if I have another dusty pink like this one, because this is kind of unique. I do enjoy this shimmer a lot. These two are pretty bland, so because of that, they are not my favorite shimmers from Natasha Denona. And this one is a dark purple, but I think I have another thing like this. So for the dark purple shade, I have this one from Pat McGrath, so I am set for that. Let's swatch this dusty pink. I want to compare it with some other shades. Of course, I don't need an exact shade of that, but I want to compare it. So from the Nimya palette, I have this shade that is a pink, but I think it's way lighter. Yes, not comparable at all. And from the pastel palette, I have this one Feather, and from the Lost in Los Angeles, I have this one. So they are not too close, but I don't think I need an exact shade of this one, and I'm not using this palette kinda at all, so I will declutter this one as well. Then I have the Matte Obsession from Huda Beauty, and this one as well I want to use one more time at least before decluttering it, because it is a good formula. These two creams are unusable in my opinion. They are creasing, but I want to use it at least one more time. Otherwise, I do have friends or maybe co-workers that could enjoy this one more than me. So for now, I'm putting it in the decluttering pile because I'm not reaching for it. It is pretty neutral. I have neutrals in a million palettes, so I don't think I need this one. I am doing so good so far. I'm surprised. Then we have the Illamasqua, the rainbow palette, and I think rainbow palettes are very useful, but this is not my favorite eyeshadow formula. I have a yellow, oranges I have over and over. This red, like I said, I have a really good red in my Kaleidos palette. Purples, you saw that I have a bunch. Blue I don't even use, and I do have a really good blue again in the Kaleidos palette. And then I have a million green shadows in my collection because green is one of my favorites right now, so I don't need this palette. I will just declutter it. Then we have the Sigma Jewels palette. It is a 9 pan, and this one I just got it. It is brand new, but I already know that I don't love it, so it is what it is. I want to do more looks with this one and try it more, so I'm gonna do that in the next couple of weeks. But this is not my favorite. It's just a bit of a harder formula to work with. The shimmers are just pretty classic shimmers. They are not that special, and the mattes are just a bit muddy, so I want to use it more, but I'm gonna put this one in the decluttering pile as well. Then we have the Do Not Disturb from BH Cosmetics. This one I think I'm gonna keep, and that is because I don't have a lot of blue eyeshadows in my collection, and I don't love blue, so that is that. But I want to keep it because this purple is absolutely stunning. I do enjoy this shimmer. This shimmer Me Time is so beautiful. It is a very unique blue shade, and the light shade is a really good inner corner highlight. So I'm gonna keep this one for a bit more because it is a really good formula as well. So I want to keep it. The Viseard Dark Edit, and this is pretty hard for me to let go because the formula really great. The shimmers not my favorites. The ones in the Viseard Violetta are way better, but I want to see when I bought this one because this one has 36 months of shelf life, so that is incredible. I got this one in April of 2021, so it's still not that old, but I got it with the Lost in Los Angeles. This is too old, but I'm not getting rid of it. I just love it so much. So what I'm gonna do actually is depot this palette. So I'm gonna keep these 5 mattes. I have no idea if I'm gonna use them. Like I said, I'm not reaching for this palette that often, but I do like these mattes. They are really good quality, and I'm gonna just declutter the rest of this palette. And lastly, we have my Little Cosmetics singles, and I would like to declutter some of these as well because they are getting older and I'm not reaching for them that often. So I want to select some shadows that are really unique, and I want to declutter the rest. Okay, after like 15 minutes, I just decluttered these ones and kept these ones. I wanted to create one palette and declutter the rest, and let me go very quickly through the ones that I decided to declutter and why. First, blue, not using blue, I have enough blues. Then a black is always nice, but I have one in my dream palette from Natasha Denona, and I think I have others as well, and I don't use black that often, so that is that. Then I have some green shimmers. I have a bunch of green shimmers, and this one is a blue one. I have others that are way more impressive than these ones, so I don't really need these. And as well, silver. I'm not reaching for silver ever, and I have other silvers that are way more impressive. This is actually a multi-chrome, but I kept the other one. This one, you can see the flipping here. It is nice, but you need a black base, and I'm not doing that look again ever, so I'm not gonna use this one. Then I have a brown. I have a bunch of browns. This purple is very beautiful. Actually, this was the last shade, and it was hard for me to decide, but I have other purples that are flaky as well, and they are a bit more impressive. And then this is a pink. I have a million pinks. This is a shade that is pretty unique, but again, it is a blue-gray. I'm not using it, so I will be more than fine without it. And lastly, I have a coral. I think I used it once. And with these ones as well, I do recommend a little shadows. They are pretty good. The shimmers are pretty nice, and the mattes are pretty easy to work with. But that being said, they are not my favorite formula, and I kept 12 of them, so I think that is more than enough. So we decluttered 12 singles from Little, half of the Viseard palette, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eyeshadow palettes. That is a lot. So this was the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you next time.